Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome for this special Sunday double trouble in the lair of the dragon. We're going to discuss launching a new series, Geopolitiks, from 1984 till today, till now. Yours truly independent Aspie geopolitical analyst and theorist on the rock and roll. We're going to go for about 40 minutes introduction, that is, of the series. Maybe the series is going to be tripart tripartite, a triumvirate for three parts, or maybe more, maybe seven. Maybe how we're gonna go this October is gonna be geopolitics with fitness, and of course continuing the advocacy and the call to all, which is a call for a public-private partnership across the collective North American civilization. Yours truly independent Aspies of the world unite, meaning that I have Asperger's, aka highly functional autism. So don't mind me if I have weird gestures, if I repeat things twice or three times, if I might do some weird gestures where I do speak, articulate, or try to it, because we do have that Asperger's, which is highly functional autism. We can be a little bit on the weird side, especially with things which we do have. But during the past years, during COVID, I've learned to accept it and manage it even more and more. But now is not the case for things that usually Asperger's do, such as perhaps interjecting too closely to a person that we speak with, or coming to close contact with a person that we have dialogue with. It's part of having Asperger's, personal distance. We might approach too close or might repeat things. And we have obsessions or interests where we put so much energy and focus. Myself being an Aspie, having Asperger's, aka highly functional autism, I do have, and at least during the past years, and in the past 3.5 years, 7 years, let's say 7 years now, really intense about geopolitics, fitness. As you can see, hundreds of my workout videos, and of course, all things of civilization and spirituality, religions with that, and a little bit of that rock and roll dance. So we have those obsessions. Myself, geopolitics, 24/7, rock and roll, fitness. That is sports. Dancing is my favorite sport, and other obsessions, but I classify them as the main obsessions, the secondary and the tertiary. My main obsessions are geopolitics, and of course, I am a great, super excellent geopolitical analyst and theorist, independent geopolitical analyst and theorist who's not perfect, far from it. Rock and roll. We are launching this series, and I'm grateful, thankful for this cup of coffee. Gonna say grateful, thankful that today's October 1st. So, gotta pay the rent. Rent gotta be paid. And of course, grateful, thankful that I'm gonna pay my rent, be able to pay my rent, pay my electricity bills paid it on Friday, paid my electricity bill, paid it already for the month of October. So grateful, thankful that I got coffee. Although, speaking of coffee, I'm just gonna interject a little bit before I go this geopolitical hardcore introductory lecture, and of course we're gonna be discussing geopolitics. I'm just gonna have a little bit of coffee. I'm grateful for this cup of coffee. Let's have a taste. I sweeten it with some sugar cane and a little bit holiday like type, but I had a little bit of sugar, so I said I don't want to use sugar, so I'm just gonna use some sugar cane. But it's good. It's a bit strong. I made it on the strong side, but nonetheless, it's good. However, I will complain a bit because I'm gonna double check the bill. Check the bill, because last time I bought the same coffee, it was the most affordable on the market in terms of being no brand, no name, so it was the least expensive. And of course, it was medium roast, and of course, it was rich. I have it right here. I'm not gonna say the name because, of course, I don't get any private sponsorship at the moment. It's medium roast ground coffee, and it's balanced and smooth. But last time I bought it, the coffee cost $6.97, and now today, if you can see now, you're gonna see that I also got wafers at $1 wafers, which I'm grateful for. $1 wafers, 175 grams, 175 grams, $1 wafers. I strongly recommend, although I don't get any financing, but they don't. Nobody commissions me or sponsors me, corporations or anybody at the moment in time. I'm looking for partnerships in all things that I do as an independent athlete, artist, Aspie athlete, artist, geopolitical analyst, and theorist, and philosopher, and thinker, and universal spiritual teaching student. But nonetheless, look, it's $8.99. See, $8.99. So Friday paid $8.99. Friday I paid $8.99. So it went up in just a matter. Last time I bought it, I think it was about in June. So let's say from June, July, August, September, as they say, or end of September, 3 months. So in 3 months, it went up from $6.97 to $8.99. So that is $2.02, right? So the cost of the coffee for the same 925 grams, medium roast ground coffee, balanced and smooth, which is really good. I gotta say, still the prices is the best price on the market for this type of coffee. So now I got coffee maybe for, this is what 925 grams did. One jar. Thank you to my anonymous sister friend for these nice little stickers. If I make a million, gonna give her half. If I make a billion, gonna give her half. If I make a trillion, gonna give her half. Greatest woman I know on the planet, deserves to be richer than Oprah, speaks better English than Oprah when she wills, but anonymous sister anyways, deserves to be 7 times richer than all the 7 Kardashians put together. But anyways, that's another story. Another nice sticker there. So I got this coffee to last me at least from October. So I got coffee for sure for a month, maybe even more. From 925 grams, which is 2 pounds, I got 1 jar of coffee. This is the coffee that I bought Friday, of which the price increased. 1 jar, a second jar of coffee, almost filled to the top, and half, kind of less than half. So I got 2 jars, but the size of this one is smaller than this one, if you notice, right? So I got these. This is what I got, plus the coffee that I'm drinking now is from this new batch, because I ran out of coffee, but there you go. So I got these coffees, so I'm grateful for this. This coffee probably gonna say if it lasts me, I'm gonna do a video, see how long it lasts me, of course. I don't have open house, open doors here. It's too small, my underground room, office, and temple, but it's better than where I used to live before, prior to probably where I used to live before due to the mold. There was a lot of mold there, and I had suffered from chronic illness, chronic sickness, and had a survived a near fatal head wound, and that's why probably I struck in my amnesia. I got also focal retrograde amnesia, so I cannot access memories of my life prior to living on this island. More than 6 years, 7 years, and 7 years about then it's hard for me to access those memories. But what's important is all the work that I did during these past years, especially during COVID, which I survived COVID in February 2020. I was very sickle and disease. It was like death, pestilence, and disease, really. And now, 42 months later, 3.5 years later, here I am. Grateful, thankful that I got coffee, got food, got bacon. The bacon, I got it also. Let's see how much I paid for the bacon. So I got 3 bacons. I got one for my anonymous sister. It's gonna show. I'm gonna blog the name, but I got it at $3.49 for 500 grams, though. 500 grams, not 375 grams, but of course 500 grams. So there's a distinction because it's 125 grams more, right? And the other prices that I saw on bacon was $3.99, but for 375 grams for $3.99. And another special I saw $3.89. That one I don't know how many grams, but I'm assuming it's 375. But nonetheless, this one was for $3.49. See, one bacon. It says 10.47 for 3, so I got them at $3.49. See there, $3.49 each. The bacon, right? $3.49. $3.49. So 500 gram bacon, which I'm gonna do after this event, special event, yours truly this Sunday, which I'm gonna cook for me and my anonymous sister friend. So $3.49. Very good, decent price, I gotta say. But the coffee went up. So back to the coffee. The coffee went up. So the coffee went up for about, exactly, not about, $2.02. But if we calculate into percentage, and there's a motive why I begin and I commence a geopolitical series, we're discussing price increases, right? Because it's tied in, paradoxically, with geopolitics and the geopolitical events of the past, right? More or less, the prices have been increasing, right? And please, multi-millionaires, billionaires, give to charity. Food security starts with the farmers. Thank you, farmers. Thank you, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, truckers. Of course, if I and I do have shows on online, and it's now 1 hour that passes that I'm not grateful. Sending some love and rock and roll to the construction workers, butchers, bakers, plumbers, doctors, electricians, farmers, because food security starts with the farmers. So back to the price of coffee increases, it's tied in with geopolitics, right? There's a geopolitical connection because of globalization and how globalization has spawned a international financialized global system, and this goes back not to last year, to 7 years ago, but to dates in history. And during the past years, of having obsessions with geopolitics and fitness, and yours truly, independent Aspie artist, athlete, and philosopher, has spent in many ways, I say I spent 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot in the libraries, and of course, I did suffer, did struggle a lot, and I am an Aspie. I have Asperger's and highly functional autism, which I've learned to manage and to discern and know that I do repeat things, that I have obsessions. Perhaps in conversations when I meet people, I tend to get too close, right? That's part of Asperger's. We tend to get too close and we have obsessions, and perhaps mostly due to Asperger's, I did have problems with employment, and had a few jobs in the past years. I had a few jobs that I really, really loved. But anyway, all the work that I did during the more since February 2020, mid-February 2020, when I had COVID, I almost died of it, and I am also obsessed about public hygiene. Please, people, my brothers and sisters, citizens, increase in public hygiene. Brothers and sisters, citizens, increase in public hygiene. Brothers and sisters, citizens, increase in public hygiene. Super important to increase in public hygiene, right? Because when we step outside of I'm in my private domain, I'm sharing with the public. I put hundreds of videos in the public sphere. In the internet, there's a private and the public balance, of which that is my obsession, balancing harmony, the public and the private, which fundamentally my call and my work in the past 3.5 years and more, which manifests as the dancing goddess and the Dragan kingdom, is fundamentally a call for a public-private partnership across what I call, as a theorist, independent Aspie, analyst and theorist, us North Americans, Canadians, Quebecers, myself included, we constitute a collective North American civilization. So North America, in my theories, and I believe it's a true theory, we constitute a collective civilization, meaning an emerging civilization which has started to emerge and lay its foundations lay in about the end of the Second World War. I've discussed it in the past years, and I will discuss it in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead. But nonetheless, we form a collective civilization, right? North Americans. And myself, I'm a Quebecer, I'm a Canadian, I'm a North American. I do not view myself, consider myself, no, have a feeling that I am a member of a diaspora. I am Quebecer, Canadian. Quebecers are my family, Canadians are my family, and North Americans. And I am a world peace advocate, but we got a geopolitical reality which is unique in that we have coast to coast, we got two oceans. We got the Atlantic. That way, to the east is the Atlantic, to the west is the Pacific. And I do believe in reincarnations, right? So I do believe that I was born here on this island in a past life. As a Quebecer, when I met Louis C. Louis C. was a strongman in a past life. And before 1492, here, right, in North America, Central America, and South America, in previous lives and incarnations, all the way down to ancient Egypt till today. For world peace, this geopolitical analyst and theorist now discuss geopolitics. So this is the introduction of a series which I launched a few series in the past, such as the series on the North American collective civilization, and my thesis as the people's doctor and Aspie doctor. I consider myself a doctor. My prescriptions are as much sunlight as you can take with cream, and exercise and regular physical exercise has been, is, and will continue to be my medicine and therapy of choice. So I go to my second home, to the mountain. There you can meet me, because here it's too small to have open house, open doors. If I have something bigger, I would have open house, open doors Monday to Friday and 9 to 5 to wash feet, kiss, whatever, because we Aspies like to offer things, and as I am offering the firefighters to wash their feet at the Beaver Lake there on mountain. We have these strange, peculiar things. People with Asperger's, such as myself and Aspies of the world unite. We like to offer things which are more tangible, more practical, such as, for example, if you would be a friend of mine and you would say, my neck's sore, I would offer, you want a rub or you want a massage or something like that. That's how we Aspie people are. like to offer more than the blah blah blah, or something that will be for pleasure or purpose, purpose and pleasure, purpose and pleasure. That's how we are Aspies, right? Which some people kind of perhaps find a little bit on the strange side, but it is part of having Asperger's and recognizing. I've suffered. I've been depressed and suicidal a few years ago. I've conquered depression, conquered being suicidal by working out, training, and exercising, and my own rebirth during this COVID, and maintaining my obsessions, which I do have. Geopolitics, 24/7 geopolitical analysis, theorizing and meditation, and fitness. We go overtime every time. Sports, and I love to work out. When you see my long workouts, I created my workout training program system, paradoxically, to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario, right? But it's a paradox because these two obsessions, as this Aspie has, of geopolitics and fitness, had been merged, fused hand in hand together, and of course had merged together for the what I do hope is for the greater good. And I've, with all the imperfections that I do have, I created the best, most efficient workout training program system which requires no equipment. The best, most efficient workout training program system which requires no equipment. In terms of that, it requires no equipment. It is the best, most efficient workout training program system that requires no equipment. It is, I believe, most efficient in increasing general overall fitness, that is. So in increasing general overall fitness, my workout, which I've created back in October 2019, more than 2.5 years ago, and what happened since, and I done changed my surname. Dragan became Dragan, turned that A of my surname into an O. Although the finances, I still work in progress to change it officially, but my my mind, body, and spirit, I'm now Dragan. And by performing it more than 300 times in last year in September 29, I completed 300 sessions of my own creative workout training program system, and I have proof of work. I have hundreds of workout videos online, and which you can see hundreds of workout videos online, of course. So back to the geopolitics, and I'm obsessed and I have interests, just many people with Asperger's, aka highly functional autism, have. We have certain interests which we are so focused on and so keen when we engage in them, that intense. We can be very, very intense when we focus on geopolitics and analysis. And back in 2019, I did a profound, in-depth analysis, geopolitical analysis, and in October had concluded, I said humanity, I sounded the alarm and said humanity, we're again on a path towards an international conflagration, aka World War III. And so made, created, and designed my workout training program system. I got proof of work online. Made and designed to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario, right? Paradoxically, as an independent geopolitical analyst and theorist, I created it to go hand in hand. My analysis and was what I thought was my conclusion. I said, humanity, we are again set on a path towards an international conflagration. In other words, a World War III scenario back in October 2019, right? And so made that workout to require no equipment and to be fundamentally, in essence, generally to go with such an event where we would have to have mobilization of citizenry and XYZ factors and other factors of such a World War III situation, as perhaps World War III could start today, could start tomorrow, could start have some say has already started. Nonetheless, that's was my conclusion in October 2019, and so made that workout training program system officially titled the General War Integrated Total Body Training System. 7 words, the official title: General War Integrated Total Body Training System. General War Integrated Total Body Training System, aka strict code name Dragan Army Workout. Yours truly, Dragan Zero, aka Limb Dick Clit. Got a scar, little scar, what I call my little scar, my little androgynous little scar, Clit Dick. Having a visible scar on my androgynous genitals aside, I'm gonna proceed with geopolitics. And we're introduced the price increasing, $8.99. The price of coffee, meaning that it increased in price in, I think, June, last time June. So it was this year, perhaps not June, perhaps earlier, but nonetheless, in just a few months, maybe 3 months, maybe a little bit more than 3 months, the price of coffee went from $6.97. This same coffee that I bought a few months ago of this year went up from $6.97 to $8.99. So $8.99 minus $6.97 is $2.02. But if you put it into percentages, that is a considerable percentage because it's more than 10%, right? So $6.97, $2, because there's $6.97, let's say 7. So it's a considerable percentage. It's like 13.3, 13.4, or maybe even more than that, right? More than whatever the case may be. More than more than 13.3% went up, and a lot of it, this price increasing, is tied in with the geopolitical realities of today. Of course, we can speculate: did the coffee go up from the producer, the farmer? It doesn't say the country of origin. I checked. It doesn't say the country of origin. It says ground roast, medium roast, ground coffee, balanced and smooth. But there's no. I gotta double check again. But usually I check all the labels to see where the provenance of the coffee comes from. Right. The provenance of the coffee comes from. So the provenance of the coffee comes from is not stated on the label. Some other labels and coffees, it says it could be usually from the top 5 producers, which Brazil is the top producer of coffee still today. Vietnam now is number 2, so Vietnam grows a lot of coffee today. Colombia, it could be Costa Rica, Cuba. We have Cuban coffee here. Or other countries, it could be Ecuador, other countries, wherever the case may be, or forever whatever country might it be that they produce it, of which Brazil most likely, Colombia probably, or Ecuador, even other countries, but nonetheless it doesn't say on this one. So it could be that the price went up from the producers themselves, or another parallel why the price could go up because of the prices of gas have increased, right? A lot since the Russia-Ukraine crisis, right? The prices have gone up a lot in the price of oil and gas, right? In February 2020, the average price of gas in Montreal was 93 cents. 93 cents, 93 cents. 3.5 years ago. Now the average price is about 160, 162. Sometimes it's 166, then it goes to 180, then 171. It goes between 156 now and 188 now. At one point, I remember it was $2.20. I drive steel toe boots and running shoes myself, so I'm not that concerned. But for public transportation, I use, and I march a lot, walk a lot. So, but nonetheless, that is primarily one of could be from the producer, or it could be down from the transportation costs have increased. Thus, somewhere along the line, they have to increase the costs, right? And inflation basically is, we tend to get overly verbose and sophisticated about inflation, but inflation is basically the prices, the value of the dollar buys less. Fundamentally is the losing of purchasing power, right? Inflation. Fundamentally, in essence, inflation means that you buy less for the dollar the next day, week, month, or year, in a year down the road. So that's basically inflation. The prices increase, and of course the prices increase. But it can be the prices increase, but it also is the price. You buy less for a dollar. For a dollar, $10, $100. So you buy less. So it can go parallel with the prices increasing, and you buy less. So if it's inflation 2%, 3%, you buy less in those percentage of the coffee, the bananas, the potatoes, whatever the case may be. And these multimillionaires, billionaires, finance, food security is fundamentally money is. We tend to get again overly verbose and deep complex financial elements and financial instruments and buy sell trade stocks and bonds, future option puts. Fundamentally, money is to buy sell services and goods, to buy sell services and buy sell services and goods. And I do believe firmly, with all the imperfections that I do have and all Sometimes I'm clumsy. Now when I focus on working out, training, and exercise, which is an obsession, fitness, along with geopolitics and other theorizing and things of civilization and nature. But I do firmly believe in my DRT theory, the DRT, the death refusion theory. At this point, I firmly believe implementing my Trinity theories, along of which it is the DRT, the death refusion theory, the death refusion theory, to create what I call the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit, U dot E dot U dot. Fundamentally, where we are now in the 21st century, to make a private-public partnership across the collective North American civilization, Mexico, Canada, US, NORAD, NATO, NORAD centric, of course, with North America, Mexico included, and beyond, my brothers and sisters, for world peace, my African brothers and sisters in the Middle East, and Arab brothers and sisters, so to work for world peace. Have been calling for years now for an immediate ceasefire and coming to the table to resolve our differences through some dialogue and action, because action is required, of course, right? Myself included, have admitted, not only that I XYZ factors, that I love my BDSM switch, but my brothers and sisters, that I'm not perfect. And at some things I am mediocre, at some things I am average, at some things I am so-so. While being so-so, average, and mediocre at some things, I am great, super, and excellent at some other things. Geopolitical analysis, workout, train, exercise, we go over time every time. So fitness and geopolitics, I'm great at that. And of course, now without fault, great at geopolitics, great at financial, simplifying financial theory. Buying and selling means that what money is, buying and selling, to buy, sell, trades goods or services and goods, whatever the case may be, of course. And that's what fundamentally money is about, right? That's why I believe in my debt refusion theory, to create what I call the Universal Exchange Unit, the UE, based on my DRT theory, the debt refusion theory. I firmly believe in it, coupled with citizen integration theory and democratic fusion theory, to create the two complementary, covenant, and cooperative 21st century private-public partnership institutions of the 21st century. As here we are now in October, and I do admit, myself included, yes, my brothers and sisters, I do have aggression. I have aggression, but aggression, I channel it so to harm none. I work out, I train, I exercise, I go in nature, go in what to do push-ups, do squats. One of the mottos of the Dragan army tries my call for a public-private partnership. We channel, sublimate the aggression with push-ups and hugs. We channel, sublimate the aggression with push-ups and hugs. Channel, sublimate the aggression with push-ups and hugs, right? To harm none. Because if some things we don't admit that we have, and we only see it in the other, then it could make us sick, ill, and repressed, right? If we repress certain lusts, which I do have a many, I sublimate them. There's a little bit of comedy and humor in my Dragon's Lair. I like my BDSM switch, and I discuss about it. Coming month of Scorpio, we'll discuss it more full, that Scorpio month. But nonetheless, of course, if we are to repress, we got to channel and sublimate to harm none, right? If we are to address issues of liberation and justice, and we got to be some action, right? There got to be some action, some gratitude with it, because food security starts with the farmers. Construction, building more houses and apartment building complexes. Saluting, I'm a fan of construction workers. They go on the steel toe boots with the cement, with the aluminum, with the rocks, building, and the knowledge and the know-how, building skyscrapers thanks to cranes. I'm a really big fan of cranes. Cranes. I love cranes. I love cranes. I admire, I salute. I'm a fan of construction workers. I'm a fan myself, sing rock and roll for the farmers, the butchers, the bakers, public workers, those changing the aqueducts, changing the sewers, the aqueducts, filling up the potholes, public works. You got to go with the private and the public. We got to have fundamental balance between the public and the private. Yesterday, this Quebecer Canadian who was born twice in the USA in previous incarnations, past lives, served both times. Post 1776, I lived twice in the United States, born post Independence Day of July 4th, 1776, and both times I've served in the United States Army. In those previous incarnations, I was born in the USA. I served twice in the United States Army. So most I was speaking to my American brothers and sisters and all over the world for world peace. But I am a North American, Canadian Quebecer fundamentally, and in culture and philosophy and perhaps lifestyle. I'm an Aspie as well. And a rainbow nation across the nation, part of the LGBTQ community, and that is fundamentally just one aspect. What do I do? What do I offer? What do I bring to the table? Well, I can bring some rock and roll, some gratitude, some poetry, some music, some dance. For the farmers, rock and roll. For the truckers, rock and roll. For the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the public works, changing the aqueducts, rock and roll and rap 24/7 in the Dragon's Lair. So that's what it is fundamentally a part of my work. And it's a lot of work doing this independent work online. Hundreds of workout videos, hundreds of rock and roll videos and philosophy, and now launching this Geopolitiks from 1984 till today. 1984. So there's two main motives which I picked. 1984 is fundamentally due to the election, or rather re-election, of Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan's re-election was a major geopolitical aspect. I'm not going to discuss trickle-down economics because I'm a pro-labor and love universal revolutionary centrist. I'm a pro-labor and love universal revolutionary centrist. I'm a pro-labor and love universal revolutionary centrist. So trickle-down economics, public-private partnership. I believe in the proportionals and, of course, the multimillionaires, billionaires, and I'm a trillionaire in kisses. I'm the world's only one and only trillionaire. I got 718 trillions of kisses for all my willingly living allies and armies. Pledge your allegiance, legions, make you kiss millionaires, because I got that credited from the forgotten goddess. Yes, I say goddess, G-O-D-D-S-S, goddess, forgotten. Who dances with a brother. Son and I'm just a piece of dust. Forget about it. I'm just a piece of dust. I'm just a piece of dust myself. A piece of dust that lusts, gets moody, has Asperger's, is obsessed about geopolitics, is obsessed about financial theory, is obsessed about BDSM, whatever it is, and the racial love, whatever it is, the racial love, whatever. So many, I love it of those more scarlet obsessions, but you gotta channel and sublimate, because we are to be free, and freedom is freedom is freedom. Freedom. Got it tattooed there, but even if I have it tattooed here, Freedom. Freedom. To become a race from races that are free. A new race. It's hard. It's a work in progress. Freedom. I admit, by my soul or by myself, I'm not able to fight for freedom. I admit it. Rainbow Dragon, independent Aspie artist, athlete, geopolitical analyst, and theorist. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy to fight in the cause of freedom. Not yet, anyways. Got a lot of work. I get moody. I get upset. I get lustful. I get in the red, in the minus, financially struggling. Freedom is freedom is something new, my brothers and sisters. It's black, white, white, black, white, black. Lots of gray, lots of gray, lots of gray sometimes. But I know somebody anonymous who can lift that sort of freedom by his soul. But not me. I like my BDSM switch. I'm clumsy sometimes. XYZ. But I fight my own battles, if anybody. I'm challenging still after many years Donald Trump. And now Tyson Fury. For real, Tyson Fury, for my one and only boxing match, Massacre Before Christmas, 23rd of December. Here on La Belle Province. I'm going to go French and English. 23rd of December, Dragan versus Fury. Dragan versus Fury, I'm willing. Because gotta give my anonymous sister friend a little gift to buy. She deserves something better, a little house for the greatest woman I know. That's why I'm fighting Tyson Fury. For my anonymous sister friend, Massacre Before Christmas. And I want to build something before this piece of dust leaves this planet, and whoever knows where we go. But I want to build the Forgotten Goddess Temple. I want to build the Forgotten Goddess Temple. The Forgotten Goddess Temple in the House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon, just simple, austere, severe, scarlet, pyramid, 3 rooms, bathroom, bathtub, and of course, with a little bit of bathroom, bathtub, and in the bathroom that is, to take baths. I love taking bathing, and of course, a room to sleep and a room to cook in. That's all I need. on the mountain, Mount Royal, this Montreal Hawk Island. So from 1984 till today, what has happened, transpired? Well, why did I pick 1984? A motive, more fundamental motives, is the beginning of the rise of China, mass urbanization, mass massive rise of China, the rise of the People's Republic of China, because Taiwan is also called China. Taiwan is officially called the Republic of China, the island of Taiwan. While China, mainland China, is called the People's Republic of China, PRC. So since 1984, with the opening, China has risen, and paradoxically, mostly in the West, with the re-election of Ronald Reagan. The re-election of Ronald Reagan was a major geopolitical development for the Western world, for the so-called free world, while the beginning of the rise of China since 1984 is something which a few decades later, now we have the China is China a superpower? Well, you tell me. Hey, I'm not a communist, I'm not a fascist, I'm a pro-labor and love universal revolutionary centrist, an Aspie, but I saw what the China built, and whatever I have no business interest in China. I wish peaceful resolutions, and to move forward in the 21st century world peace and get along. And I am focused on my theories, and my philosophies are for what I call the collective North American civilization, and to build North America infrastructure and focus here. But I don't. I hope we can go to peace, or not World War III, but perhaps it's too late and we already are in World War III mode, or have to. And then my predictions based on my in-depth, profound, perhaps intense geopolitical analysis, because I'm an Aspie, so I have obsessions like all Aspies do. We are less than 1% of the population, eh? People with Asperger's, aka highly functional autism. But sometimes we're very great at certain interests which we are obsessed about. And my obsession has been geopolitics for many, many years. I've focused, I've studied, I've learned, and I've analyzed, I've written thousands of papers and USB keys and by hand and reflections and in-depth. So geopolitics, I know profoundly and in-depth. But not that I know it all or that I claim my theories are 100% true. I also leave something to doubt, give all the benefit of the doubt, so many doubts and benefit of the doubt, and all doubts, and there's doubts in it, and there's exclamations and interrogations and questions on the questions on the questions, and tripartites, and maybe a 50-50. Right, but fundamentally, I'm a great, super, and excellent geopolitical analyst and theorist. I have no doubt that I might be wrong sometimes, but I wasn't wrong about 2019. My reflections were not wrong, were parallel in many ways. It seems to have concluded, and that we have been heading towards that direction. So I choose 1984 due to a lot of facts that, of course, the re-election of Ronald Reagan and the beginning of the rise of China, the starting point. So from 1984 till today, introductory, what has happened? Well, major geopolitical events have transpired since 1984 till today. The Ronald Reagan re-election was a major point in terms of the inflection of changing a very capitalist system and the concentration of wealth. I say that it kind of, at least in the USA and a little bit beyond, began for a more tiny financial capitalist corporate elite with the re-election of Ronald Reagan in 1984, right? Because you see more concentration of wealth, more of a plutocracy, not officially, but in many ways a plutocratic transformation of the United States and many countries around the West, but United States, and I speak as a Quebecer Canadian who was born twice in the United States, as a pro-labor and love universal revolutionary centrist. My centrism is tied with my public-private partnership call for a public-private partnership across NORAD nations and North American collective civilization and the Western world, the free world, and even beyond to move forward in the 21st century in a more progressive manner and fashion as we break the impasses of which I've lived myself personally. It's been a hard road to accept. I have Asperger's, and I have weird gestures, and not necessarily tics. We don't have necessarily tics, But we have certain gestures which we do repetitively, and we are obsessed about interests such as geopolitics. So major events since then, 1984 till today, Ronald Reagan, his re-election is one of the motives and the reasons, the geopolitical motive and reason why I chose 1984 till today, and the beginning of the rise of China. A little paradox, a little parallel paradox, right? And whatever we say about China, my brothers and sisters, XYZ, left, right, center, black, white, and lots of gray, well, my brothers and sisters, whatever we say, from whatever perspective, European, North American, Canadian, United States, outside, the system that China is able to transform since 1984, calling it socialism with Chinese characteristics, just like I call my theories, my philosophies as universal revolutionary centrism, okay, socialism with Chinese characteristics, socialism with Chinese characteristics, socialism with Chinese characteristics has worked for China. That is fundamentally the essence of things. We can say 10,000 trillion words and get sophisticated and cosmopolitan and intellectual. The fundamental resume or fundamental concise summary of it is that that system, socialism with Chinese characteristics, has worked for the People's Republic of China. That's it, that's all, rock and roll. That's the summary. Whatever we can add and we can argue or not argue, but my brothers and sisters, straightforward and direct. For the People's Republic of China, mainland China, socialism, and it's a paradox because they're still quote Karl Marx, and if you want to understand more, you have to read and you have to understand Xi Jinping's, which I've began to read and listen to the audiobooks, The Governance of China. There's 4 volumes. Governance of China, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, and 4, which I've studied and I've read, and you see that it makes a lot of reference to Karl Marx and Marxism and socialism with Chinese characteristics and the building of what they view. And I think this is 1984 was the first time that China mentioned the building of spiritual socialist civilization, the building of a spiritual socialist civilization. What they're trying to build is a spiritual socialist civilization. So whatever we say, the summary of it all is that, well, socialism with Chinese characteristics has worked for the People's Republic of China. That's it. That's all rock and roll. Whatever we say, they've been able to build infrastructures and have the biggest sports in the world and mass urbanization and build these mega cities, huge metropolises with sky rises and agricultural products, of which they're in the top producer in the world since 1984. You see how their production of melons, production of tomatoes, production of pork, production of poultry, just skyrocketed in production, and of course XYZ factors. But nonetheless, that's my analysis. I have no business interest. I have no investments. I'm financially struggling outside of the North America. Pretty much, I have no. I wish world peace upon the world and world peace to resolve our differences in a peaceful manner whatsoever. But nonetheless, I'm a North American, Canadian, Quebecer, and from a North American perspective and geopolitical analysis. So a lot of things have transpired since then. 1984, re-election of Ronald Reagan is an important, super important point. Another things that had transpired, which are major point, is the fall of the Berlin Wall. So the fall of the Berlin Wall in November 1989. Big year of changes, 1989 for free world, Europe. The East Germany reunites with West Germany, kind of like the beginning of the fall of socialism, communism, Marxism in Eastern Europe, right? And a few years later, the dissolution of the Soviet Union, the USSR, right? USSR dissolution officially occurred in 1991, I believe December 24th, 25th. Dissolution of December 24th, 25th, the dissolution of the Soviet Union, December 24th, 25th, December 24th, 25th. 1 minute? 1 minute, 1 minute. dissolution. So those major events. So we're going to discuss more in depth in the second part, because this was just an introduction. So an introduction, and introduction. So there you have it. Aspie, independent Aspie, geopolitical analyst and theorist, for this introduction. Geopolitics analysis from 1984 till today. Gonna continue in the coming days, weeks ahead. Continuing with this analysis, and this has been an introduction by yours truly, independent Aspie, artist, athlete, philosopher, geopolitical analyst and theorist, and universal spiritual teaching student, because I have lots of questions and mysteries, and I don't claim to know it all, but I am a great geopolitical analyst and theorist, and rock and roll 24/7. Workout, train, exercise is my prescriptions to all. It's my medicine and therapy of choice. And make love tonight with consent. Give yourselves a hug like you never hugged before. See you later.